This beautiful celebration of the solemnity of Corpus Christi that we celebrate today is a joyous celebration of the reality that Jesus Christ accompanies us in our ordinary life through the little things of our daily routine. From the beginning of the Church's celebration of Corpus Christi, it was a processional festival which took people to the streets, carrying the Blessed Sacrament in a monstrance, singing and dancing. Many times the procession included parts of the sacred history of the people, emphasizing the presence of God among his particular local community. Today, many parishes follow this custom, taking to the streets in procession. It is a loss for us this year because of the coronavirus. But this year, we jubilantly celebrate the initiation rites for adults over here in this section who have been preparing for a long time under the guidance of Mercy Sister Yvette Gillen and her team. 3 people will receive the sacraments of baptism, confirmation, and First Communion. Some will be received into full communion of the Catholic Church and receive confirmation and First Communion. I also have special permission from Bishop Sticca to confirm 2 people who are already Catholic. These people were going to receive the sacraments during the Easter Vigil and also in the spring celebration of confirmation accordingly, but we weren't able to come together with celebrating Masses with people during those holy weeks of the year. But I thank God that we are here celebrating Corpus Christi in a very special and joyful way. Our gospel today, the Bread of Life discourse from John chapter 6, insists that Jesus is the bread come down from heaven that gives eternal life. In his time, Jesus understood well that people needed this message, and we need it today. We know that in leaving us the Eucharist, or Holy Communion, Jesus invites us to his table, and therefore to a deep intimacy, as he did with the disciples at the Last Supper. He invites us as a family, not letting us live as isolated individuals. We gather at Mass as a community of faith and of hope. It is a time of sharing. We come with our illusions and our sorrows, our joys and our fears. We don't have to be strong or perfect. We have to just gather with confidence and humility. We come not because we are worthy. We come because Jesus himself seeks us and wants us to be at table with him. I believe there is a power in ritual or sacred rites, repeating gestures, like making the sign of the cross over ourselves or in blessing, of lighting candles, of eating the Eucharist, using incense like we do today, praying the litany of the saints, which is part of this celebration, and singing in procession, to name a few. But these little things help us to identify who we are. We are human beings who need relationships. The quarantine that we experienced exposed loneliness in people, a longing for face-to-face, human-to-human interaction. Many times I heard and experienced, Zoom meetings just don't do it for me. I know many of you are still joining us by live stream, the cameras, and I want to assure you that you are all particularly held in my heart and prayer. For your own well-being, I commend you for doing what is right for your health or the health of a loved one. One of our candidates for the sacraments today is sick and cannot be here today. She so longs to celebrate these rituals and receive the Eucharist, and she will in time. Also, Sister Yvette wants to be here, and I hope you are watching on live stream. Her community will not let her travel. They are still in lockdown in the Mercy Convent in Nashville. So when it is safe to be together in face-to-face, human-to-human contact relationships again, we will rejoice even more in who God made us to be, living in intimate relationships of love. Today, the Church invites us to celebrate this great mystery of the body and blood of Christ. We don't really have to understand the great theological insights of why the Church celebrates this mystery. We merely have to thank him for this generous gift from a God of goodness. What is more important is to believe that as we approach the sacrament, we receive the body and blood, soul and divinity of Jesus Christ, this intimate union of God with us, and also the intimate union of all of us to one another. Communion is the love of Jesus made visible. Communion is the caress that Jesus Christ extends to us. Communion is the consolation that God offers us. Communion is the strength that God gives us to keep us going. Communion is also the challenge we receive to become a presence of love for others.